Okay, so for this project, we're going to work on the background first. Have this kind of beautiful, it's not a defined kind of pattern, but very whimsical and soft pattern behind the girl. And so like, it's not defined. You can see right there. And we will start with, this is raw umber, alizarin crimson, ultramarine violet, and white. Same colors I was using last night for the project we were working on. All right, okay, let's do that. I have a filbert. I have two sizes, big and small, or medium. Take my, let's start with this ultramarine violet. It's easier because it's not strong. It's easier to figure out the brush stroke with a color that's not too strong, and a bit of white. So I'm taking ultramarine violet, raw umber, white. So you want your ultramarine violet to be kind of muted, not too strong. And we're going to layer our colors. So we're going to kind of glaze the colors on. Right now, I have a bit of water in here. It's not a glaze, it's kind of, but not too thick. I take, and I'm just going to go like this. Take a bit of white, put it in. Take a bit of ultramarine violet, put it in, and just kind of push the color around. And you see how it just gives you a beautiful, soft background color. Let's put in alizarin crimson, raw umber, white, into the same mixture I have. White, because I don't want it to be too dark. Just want it to be there, but not overwhelming. We will go over it again. So if you find that there's like, I'm finding here that I put too much raw umber in there, I add pure alizarin crimson, some white over, and push them around. Overlap the colors. We will go over this when it's dry as well. This is not this last. Attempt at this background. We're going to go over. Again, if you find that the colors are too muted and you find that too much raw umber in there, add more of the ultramarine violet or the alizarin crimson with white. It's okay if it's dark because we're going to go over it. This is the dark part is going to make it easier for us to go over it with a beautiful white, glaze it with white on top. Let's put, I'm getting here too much red, I'm going to go over in this area with some purple. If you find that your color is turning too muddy or too brown, try without raw umber.
You're doing the whole background, not just the heart.
No, just the heart for now. We don't
okay.
need to do the whole background.
We're just doing the heart, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no couch.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to let it dry. And then I'll come back to adjust the values and the color. I'll take a bit of raw umber in here, white, ultramarine, violet, water. See how dark? It's unbelievable. I'm putting so much white and it's still turning really dark in here. But that's okay. We'll go back to it and we will glaze it lighter. I'm going to put green in this basket. So I'm going to put a little bit more red behind the green. It's nicer. Right here. So when we put green behind, it will look really nice. So I like this part better than this. This is a bit too dark. Go back and use just ultramarine violet white. No raw umber with this. And I think we should glaze it later on with some white. Very soft glaze on top when it's completely dry. And it's okay if you lose the shape of that we're trying to do, the the little shape of the heart doesn't matter, because we can fix it later on with this part where we're going to put some white. Okay, that's good. Let it dry, and then we're going to go over this one more time. And soften the whole thing. Give it a bit of a interesting shape, pattern, and soften. Right. I'm going to stop recording. All right, so now I'm just going to take. So now I'm not using any raw umber because I used it underneath with the color underneath to tone down my colors a bit for the first layer. And now I'm using white, ultramarine violet, and alizarin crimson. And I changed my brush into a bright or flat. I'm using the corner of the brush. Now, if your brush is brand new, don't use it. Use another one that's an older brush, because this movement, what I'm doing right now, I'm like using it not in this way, which is softer on the bristle. I'm kind of a circular way right there, like that. So that will be harsh on the brush. And when I do this, if after I'm done, I look at it and it's still too dark, then I can just glaze it. Glaze the whole thing with white. Especially, it might look a bit dark also, even though we're putting white once we start putting the snow here. So I'm trying to blend the edges. So when you get into that different color, just try to blend the connection, the transition of colors. Okay, good. Let's soften this a bit. Okay. Let's get a medium size. Now, this brush is too strong, the bristles are too harsh. Yes, that's one that is, bristles are soft. I'm going to take white, lots of white, put ultramarine, and I'll stop in a minute. I'll stop the recording so we can take our time working on it. A bit of alizarin in here, lots of white, ultramarine violet. It's a nice pink. Perfect.
Just alizarin and white, you said?
Yeah, I'm putting white right now. What I'm doing? Yeah, it's white, ultramarine, violet, and a little bit of alizarin crimson, and I'm just adding a kind of a hint of white snow, especially lighter at the bottom than the top, like more white at the bottom. Oops, what am I getting here? I'm getting more white in here. It's a large brush, but it's soft. The bristles are not harsh. And I'm just kind of slowly and softly blending the color in the back. Using a wide brush, big brush, helps with the blending, soft blending, because there's no harsh brush strokes. in there, small brush strokes. So the wider the brush is, the easier the blending is, because also you spread color fast enough to be, the color would be still wet. It doesn't dry fast. If you use a small brush, the paint will dry fast. Then you will have harsh edges. That's the way it is with acrylics. I'm using the corner of my brush first, and then I blend. Push the color up. I start with the white at the bottom, with white with either ultramarine violet or alizarin crimson, and then I just spread the colors softly. There. And I think by now the color here is dry. I'm going to push this color up. Ultramarine and white, ultramarine violet. It will dry darker. It looks white right now, but it will dry darker. It's not that white. It's more like a very soft purple. Same here. Also dry brush. I'll wait for it to dry, and then I'm going to glaze this in the back. Maybe. All right. We're done for this week. We have created a soft background, and next week we'll start working on the girl, the hat and the coat and everything. And we will check if the background needs to be softened a bit, glazed.